Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in lovely Lenox, Alabama. Wasn't it beautiful out there today? Man, gorgeous. Come on down and see what we're doing here. It's October 23rd, 2019. We're the folks who believe the Bible is true. God made the world in 6 days, about 6,000 years ago. Dinosaurs lived with man. They probably called them dragons or some other name, depending on the culture. And they've always lived with man, and man killed most of them. And there could be a few still alive today, which is why there are legends of Loch Ness Monster and that kind of stuff. And that's what we cover in our video series, which you can get on drdino.com or call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1. Talk to Julie. Say, I want the whole video series. $50 for 18 hours. And when you're done watching it, you can send it back, get your money back, minus shipping. Can't beat a deal like that. Okay, we're going to Cozumel. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this with a straight face now, brother. I'm going to try.
Since day one.
January 25th to the 30th, we're going to a cruise, if you'd like to go on the cruise with me and a bunch of others, the Christian Country Music Cruise. Going to be singing Christian country music. And the question that, here it comes, how do I skip it now? Skylar said, what kind of shampoo do you use? I said, what? He said, the dinosaur is sniffing your hair.
He's looking at you.
Anyway, you can leave out of Galveston, Texas. You can come along cruise with us. Call Rhonda or Julie. Be sure to tell them. They're going to say who you're cruising with. And you're probably going to say my wife or my son or my daughter. No. You're cruising with Ken Hovind. Be sure to say that. Okay, leaves out of Galveston. Invite your family or pay your atheist friends to come on the cruise. I'll be glad to talk to them. I really will. Okay, I'll spend time with them. I'll answer their questions. Leave out of Galveston. Go down to Mexico. Go over this way. Come that way and go back home. And then, okay. Boot Camp DVDs are finally available. If you did not get the original Boot Camp from 2005, you can get all those DVDs for $40. Watch them while you travel. The new series is also $40, I believe. Check 855-BIG-DINO. Got all kinds of cool stuff. Don Boys, Paul Abramson, and Dennis Swift, and myself. All a bunch of videos, DVDs in here. Freddie, you're going to get your wish granted. I'm taking on the moron.
Hey.
Okay? That's what you wanted. All right.
Right. You didn't say that word, did you?
No,
You're going to start the debate with an insult?
No, it's not an insult. It's the truth. Okay. Anyway, come celebrate Veterans Day. If you're a veteran or friend of a veteran or family of a veteran, bring them all. Free lunch for everybody that comes. Let us know, please, ahead of time so Freddie can get some cooking done there. November 11th, come ride our four-wheelers and take a cruise in the hyperbaric sleeping bag if you'd like. That's going to be November 11th. Also, November 28th is going to be free lunch here for everybody. Come on for Thanksgiving. Join us for Thanksgiving. We'd love to have you here. Let's see, free lunch at 3 o'clock, singing at 4, four-wheeler rides, or the hyperbaric sleeping bag, and going to be a good lunch. How many like Freddie's cooking and his wife's cooking over there? Man, oh man. Awesome. Yeah. We have 12 cabins. First come, first serve. Call Julie about that, extension 1. And Bible study, it says here 7:30. Now it's 7 o'clock. We moved it up, so if you want to come for Bible study, you can come. Let's see. If you help us stay open for free, join the 777 Club. Go to drdino.com. Say, I want to help these guys win souls and invest my money and time in something that's going to be productive for the kingdom of God. Make any checks to CSE. We're asking folks, if they can, give $1 a day. All right. Many people called my attention in the last 2 days to the guy who calls himself ScriptManDan. Science Man. I'm assuming the Sci stands for science, though I really doubt it, Dan. After listening to you, you get a new name. Okay, you and Bill Nye, the science guy. No science in evolution. Evolution's a religion. Anyway, so it's a new comedy show. Thanks for the free advertising, Dan. Call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 2, to schedule time to debate me live on your channel and mine. Have a live debate. Here's Hovind prediction. He won't do it. Run, chicken, run, okay? Dan will not debate me, but will offer excuses or change topics like his cult followers do. For example, I commented there, Dan, at 30 seconds, you said you were taking on Ken Hovind. That's me. You did no such thing. I'll be glad to take on a debate with you any day, by Skype or phone or live. Come visit the Science Center in Lenox, Alabama, and I'll give you a tour and introduce you to some real science and show you how your sins can be forgiven and you can get to go to heaven. Somebody replied, inmate 06452, real science, that's amusing. I'm not an inmate, okay? I was unjustly, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I forgot my phone. Could you run up to the house and grab it? I got to call Brady. Cindy, run up to the house and get, run, okay. Run, Forrest, run. Okay. The irony of you talking about sins. And the Science Center is as much about science as the People's Democratic Republic of North Korea is about democracy. John Big Screwball, I think is what it means. John Big. You don't have a clue what you're talking about, son. I love science. I taught biology, earth science, physical science. I'll take a quiz against you any day on any one of those topics, okay? Evolution is not part of science. It's a religion. It's mixed in with science, just like beer is sold at football games. John, beer is not part of football. Beer has nothing to do with football. It makes them play worse, not better, when they drink it, okay? And so evolution is not part of science. Now, I will agree it's thoroughly mixed into the books. Now, that I'll agree with. But that doesn't make it part of science, okay? Medically unexplained symptoms says, what's a debar? Are you illiterate? I don't think so. You don't seem to be able to spell center. Are you illiterate? Well, first of all, this has nothing to do with the topic of creation evolution, okay? Secondly, the British spell center different than the English, the Americans. See, the Americans, we spell it C-E-N-T-E-R. In England, they spell it C-E-N-T-R-E. See, it's little stuff like that is why you guys lost the war, and that's why we had to come help you win 2 other wars, because you don't know how to spell nothing. Okay, all right. James writes in, oh, look, it's cult leader Cunt Hovind. Don't stay here for long. You might learn something, you old lovable convict, you. Here you go again. Nothing to do with the topic, having to do with he went to prison. Yeah, I did, unjustly. A lot of people have gone to prison unjustly through history. Have you heard of the 6 million Jews that died in Nazi Germany? Or all the people in Russia? How many people are in North Korea unjustly in prison? How about Jesus? Did nothing wrong. They executed him. Anyway, why exactly would Dan debate a criminal? Well, asylum, alism, I don't know, autism. I think it's autism. I'm not a criminal. I didn't break any laws. The case is not over yet. We're going to go back every time we can. We're going to go back and get them to overturn this, or get Congress to look at this judge for not overturning it, saying there ought to be an impeachment hearing on this. Like, why didn't you just judge fairly in this? Congress is supposed to impeach judges or congressmen or presidents that don't go according to the law. I'd suggest you look into that. Anyway, you haven't got a science center in Lenox, Alabama. Okay, do we have a science center here in Lenox, Alabama?
Yes.
Yeah, come visit it. Like, duh, raging stupid, I think is what it is. Okay, here we go. I wrote, hey Dan, thanks for the free advertising for my materials. I'd be honored to debate you live on your channel or mine, Kent Hovind Official, anytime you work up the nerve. You can have 10 or 20 fellow evolutionists on, he calls it evolution. You got that one right, Dan. You pronounce it right. It's evolution. If it'll give you comfort, you can have 10 or 20 fellow evolutionists on your side. You send me your best 3 evidences for why you believe in evolutionism, and we will talk about them live. I'll be anxiously awaiting. Call 855-BIG-DINO extension 2 to schedule. And Scallop wrote in exactly why you're still sticking to this. Thank you, ma'am. Money. Oh, you think so? Forbes.com did an article about my case, saying it was not income tax evasion, it was structuring. That's how they got Kent Hovind. You are correct. But hold it now. You're saying I'm doing my YouTube because of money? This is right off of Dan's page 5 minutes ago. Get 30% off your first bag of coffee with Trade Coffee. At first 2 minutes of his YouTube, he talks about advertising for coffee to make money, nothing to do with science. And then he's got buy side Dan man's merchandise. I'm not against it. I'm just pointing out, I think you're hypocritical to say I'm in this for money and Dan's not in this for money. I don't monetize my channel. We don't copyright my stuff. Well, we copyright it because people were tweaking, changing it. But you can get my stuff, watch it, send it back, get your money back. Dan, do you do that with yours? Svampa Bob writes in, how do you collect your paycheck with an honest heart, said the man who did 10 years for fraud. I did not do 10 years for fraud. Svampa Bob, you need to get your facts straight if truth matters to you, which I doubt. Nice burn, ironic, isn't it? Okay, Brady Byram, longtime friend of mine, did 15 months research on my case. He's a paralegal. You can call him. Here's the website, KentHovinIsInnocent.com. See if I can get it to work here.
Hello?
Hey, Brady, Kent Hovind here. You got a second?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, brother, you spent 15 months researching my case on, and you did the the video series on KentHovinIsInnocent.com. Tell me, did I break any of the tax laws that applied to me?
Not a single one.
Did the government or the government acting people break any laws to get me convicted?
Yes, well over 100 of them.
Well, over 100 laws were broken by the government to put me in prison. And your testimony, after
Yes.
spending 15 months investigating this, including coming here, reading every document, living here for 6 months, is that I did not break any laws. Because there are some people on the
That is
internet
correct.
accusing me of breaking laws, and they haven't even read the first line. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just looking for any excuse to not listen to what I say about their dumb religion of evolution. That's the
That's
Hovind
correct.
theory. Okay, so you're as a paralegal, you've investigated everything and said you don't think I broke a single tax law that applied to me.
That's correct.
Yes, ma'am.
If I'm not mistaken, he was willing to see, otherwise if he found it, he was looking for the truth, he wasn't.
Yeah, you were looking for the truth. You would have ruled either way, and you said I didn't.
I told you from the very beginning when I got to meet you, when you first got out, I said, Ken, I'm going to look into your case. I want a copy of your indictment, and I'm hoping that you were innocent of these charges. But in my analysis, if you broke 1 or 2 laws out of the 58 counts, I'm going to expose those just as well.
Okay.
And you said that's fine. I still want you to do this research.
Yep. Amen. Okay. So for those who are saying, let's see, we have Svampa Bob says I did 10. He said I did 10 years for fraud. Is that true?
There was not a count of fraud in there. There was failure to withhold. The first 12 counts was failure to withhold, but then they also, in the indictment, accused you of withholding and failure to pay. So they actually they charged you with 2 oppositional things that your defense attorneys apparently didn't pick up on. They should have noticed that. But none of those tax laws that are written for ordinary others that are involved in other activities, none of those applied to you. And out of the 45 counts of structuring, I proved out of the Rennis case there is no such thing as structuring. They only use the empty charge of it so that they can manipulate and go after whoever they want, and also they can exclude whoever they want.
Well, and so they could justify
and then
seizing the money.
What's that?
And so they could justify seizing the money. Because the money was, the
absolutely.
bank account and all the properties were seized based upon the amount structured, they said. And it didn't even break the structuring law.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, brother. Have people call you if they got any questions, or watch the video series, KentHovind.com.
Absolutely.
So you folks...
Especially video number 3. Number 3 will get them good started. But really, I mean, it's arduous, it's long, it's many times boring, but there's not a single person in America who can prove me wrong. Not a single person who can do it.
Okay. Thank you, brother. You've been a blessing. Come visit Lennox and bring a hammer. We got work to do, okay?
Thanks, Brady.
I sure will.
Thank you, brother. Bye. All right, so Svampa Bob, I'll take your apology, 855 Big Dino, extension 3. Give me a call. If you have any honest bones in your body, give me a call. I didn't break any laws at all. How can you teach this to kids? This guy said, I feel the same way about religion. Boy, me too. Evolution is a religion and should not be taught to the kids in public school. You guys ought to go start your own private school. It's a belief. How do you teach to believe? I thought school is supposed to be teaching facts, not some nonsense beliefs. I agree, evolution is nonsense, and I'm not trying to get creation in the schools. I'm not trying to get my religion in the schools. I just want the lies out of the textbook. I think you could teach science without teaching evolution or creation. You could say, boys and girls, you have 2 bones in your wrist, the radius and the ulna. You have a humerus right here. You have the flexors, the extenders, the deltoid, the biceps, the triceps, the scapula. You could learn all the muscles and all the bones and never mention anything about creation or evolution. It's unrelated. You could learn all about the physical science laws. You could learn about geometry and the diameter and circumference and pi r squared, actually pi r round, cornbread r square, but you could learn all the stuff about geometry and mathematics without learning anything about evolution. It's got nothing to do with the subject. Let's see, Damien writes in, science is not religion. If you think it is, that doesn't make it true. Get educated and stop posting ignorant nonsense. I agree. I love science, but evolution's mixed with it. Evolution is a religion. And you guys think it's part of science, and there's the problem. You can't see your nose in front of your face, can you? Okay. You aren't talking about science, rather you're referring to pseudoscientism, which your side always mislabels as science. I never post nonsense. On the contrary, you, Dan, and all of Dan's subs do. Okay. Let's see. Stefan, if you really think science is that evil, you'd better stop using computers. I don't think science is evil. I love computers too. Stop using medication. Live without heating system or airco. Stop eating foods wrapped in plastics. Process using heat or salt or other techniques to prolong. What does any of those have to do with evolution?
Nothing.
Nothing. We like science. I use a cell phone. Yeah. Ooh. You guys keep thinking, you're trying to imply that evolution is part of science. So Dan, my offer is on. I'll debate you anytime. Hovind prediction. Run, Dan, run. Run, Dan, run. Okay. So I'm going to play a little bit of Dan here.
Evolution is one of my favourite topics to talk about.
Thank you for pronouncing it correctly. Evolution.
The sheer simplicity and beauty of it makes it one of the most important scientific revelations of our time.
It's not beauty.
It's not beauty. All the struggle for life and everything dies except the one that's got the new improved gene. Everything else has to die. You and Adolf Hitler would get along good, wouldn't you? Okay.
Absolutely love reading about it and learning about all the little intricacies that exist within the topic. So when I see people doubting evolution and going as far as saying that textbooks are lying about it, then I get a little bit annoyed. And today we're taking on one of the most prolific doubters ever, Kent Hovind.
Tinfoil Tuesdays?
Yeah.
He's got the hat on himself. Here's the proof. Okay.
Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, ScriptManDan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today...
He's going to give a long commercial about the coffee. I'm going to skip through that up to, let's see.
It makes kind of an interesting point.
We don't want to hear the coffee commercial.
What's beautiful about creatures crawling out of a
Mike, we drink a lot of coffee here. Tell him to send a couple of bags.
Okay, here we go. I want to give him a chance to... He says he's going to take on the biggest evolution denier. Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Right, back to today's video where Kent Hovind is apparently going to tell us all of the lies that textbooks tell us. This video is so big and so full of holes that I'll be tackling it in two parts. Today will be part 1 and next Tuesday will be part 2. Can't wait for this. Take it away, Kent.
Theodore, they misspelled his name on kahanacademy.org. I'll help you out, guys. His name is not Theodus. Check it out. Okay, it is, but I left it just like you said it. Dobzhinsky said, nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution. And they use this quote all the time, all over the internet. Nothing makes sense except in the light of evolution. Like evolution is the light which illuminates all facts.
Well, it kind of is when it comes to biology, zoology, and the natural world.
Now hold it, Dan. Just naming branches of science is not evidence. Where is the evidence of any animal in zoology changing to any other kind of animal? Where is the best evidence? You have a live debate here on my channel and yours. What is the best evidence you have of any farmer or any scientist ever in the history of the world seeing any animal produce a different kind of offspring than it is? I would be willing to bet every farmer would tell you cows produce cows and dogs produce dogs and chickens produce chickens, okay? There are no exceptions. So where is the best evidence for this, Dan? I'd like to see it. I think a lot of people would like to see it, and most people are sick and tired of paying for that nonsense to be taught in our school system. You guys ought to believe that idiocy. Ought to go start a private evolution school and teach anybody that wants to pay and come learn it. Nobody would come, would they? You can't make it on your own. You got to steal money from everybody else and make us pay for your religion to be taught. That's what's going on. Notice the smile. Okay. They are absolutely stark raving mad. Amen. Go Hovind. It's insane. Now, there's no question. I agree. He probably said that. Dobzhinsky probably really believed what he said. I disagree, though, that his belief, no matter how strong, makes it true. Just because he said something doesn't make it true.
A very interesting statement and one in which I will come back to once we've finished here. But anyway,
Oh, hang on.
He said that because it was true. Him saying it didn't make it true, it was already a factual statement.
Says Dan. Okay, Dan, where's the evidence for this? Where's the evidence of any animal or plant ever producing any other kind of offspring? I don't mean long ago and far away you can imagine it happened. I mean, where's scientific evidence? Dan? Just because they draw lines on paper doesn't make them related. Use your head, okay? Nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution. Well, he probably did say that, and he probably really meant it, but it's not true. And on that crazy website, khanacademy.org, I just typed in evidence for evolution. They say, well, there are 3 lines of evidence: structural, microbiology, and direct observation. This is simply a lie. None of these lead to the conclusion of evolution.
But just because you say that, Kent, it doesn't mean it's true.
Now, you got a good point there, Dan. And just because you say evolution is true doesn't make it true either. Does it, Dan?
You see how easy this is going to be from now on?
How easy?
And for structural, they'll say, see, the humans, the cats, the whales, the bats all have similar bone structures in their arm. Now that,
by the way, I forgot to mention, he got almost 100,000 views in a day and a half. Are there that many stupid people out there that follow this guy?
Yeah.
We have problems in the...
It must be his English accent.
The English accent, yeah, that's why they lost the war too. Okay. That is true, that is a fact. That does not lead to the evidence, to the observation or the conclusion that evolution is true.
Well, no, but it does prove that all these animals are related somehow.
Whoa, Dan. The fact that all the animals have similar bone structure proves they're related? Stop and think about that. I'm sorry. I'll refrain from what I was about to say. Okay.
And it is very, very strong evidence that they all came from the same ancestor.
It does no such thing, Dan. Similar structures in these forelimbs of all the animals does not give evidence that they have a common ancestor. How can you not see that? It proves they have a common designer.
You absolutely cannot deny that.
Okay, I'm going to deny it. Absolutely cannot deny it. I deny it. Anybody else deny it? Look at that. Whoa, we got about 20 deniers here. Okay, go ahead.
How is that similar? They have the same name.
They have the same name, Humorous. Yeah, who named it? The cat? Oh, that's my Humorous. Yeah, okay, I'm sure the cat really didn't care.
Whoever that genius was in the background, I would have edited him out.
I'm sure you would have. You guys like to edit out anything that's got common sense that goes against your religion of evolution. You edit out anything that has to do with, just leave in stuff that says, oh yeah, have to be a common design, a common ancestor. No, could be a common designer. At least give kids the option to choose which one they want to believe. No, you would edit out, wouldn't you, anything that says design, or kid, there might be maybe the same guy designed these. You would edit that out, wouldn't you, Dan? Just like you'd edit out somebody who puts a common sense comment in here. Says, yeah, that was Nick, by the way, right?
Is he really asking how all the animal groups came up with the same names for our bones?
It's a joke,
He's
Dan.
genuinely using that as an argument, isn't he? Wow. Of course, I don't have to tell all you guys that because mammals all have similar bone structures, then we can name the bones in other animals because they match ours quite well.
So, wow. I agree that many animals have a similar forelimb structure. Most, almost, I think maybe all mammals do. Okay, I can't think of one that doesn't. But what does that prove? It doesn't prove a common ancestor. It could prove a common designer.
Well, it doesn't prove that though, does it? For the same reason that you argued that it doesn't prove evolution. Yes, they are similar, but that fact alone doesn't prove that they came from the same designer, or one at all.
Nor does it prove they came from the same ancestor, Dan.
Just the bone names alone, where'd they come from?
Well, man named the ones in the cat. I think the dog named his own, but I think the cat, we named that one, okay. I have worked on, huh?
Not it could, it does.
It does, yeah. I've worked on quite a few cars. Brother, you have too. I've had 130 cars. Let's see, 14 Toyotas, 14 Volkswagens. Most of the cars I've worked on are held together with either bolts or screws. Would you say Honda uses bolts and Toyota uses bolts and Chevy uses nuts and bolts and, you know, do most cars use nuts and bolts to hold things together?
Yes.
Yeah. Does that prove they all evolved from a skateboard, or does that prove that's a good way to build cars, to bolt them together?
Yes, you heard that correctly.
Slap it harder next time, Dan. Maybe it'll knock some sense in there. Here. Bring your forehead down here. We can slap it hard and knock some sense into it. This is the Whack an Atheist hammer someone made for me.
Someone's going to tell you you're threatening.
No, I'm not threatening you, Dan. I'll offer you the hammer. Smack yourself, okay? Get some common sense in there, son.
He actually did argue that. Words fail me sometimes.
Yes, intelligence is failing you on this entire topic, Dan. It's a good design. This is a good design for forelimbs. That's all. It's a good design, which means designer. Stop lying to the kids and tell them that's proof of evolution. Homology and analogy, and lines of evidence. If they're similar, that proves they're related. If they look the same, but they're not similar, they're still related. Everything they see is evidence for evolution. In evolutionary biology, the term analogous pertains to various structures in different species having the same function but have evolved differently. So a butterfly has a wing, a bird has a wing, and a bat has a wing.
I agree.
Look at
He's
that,
right.
boys and
He's
girls.
right.
Similar structures. They have wings. Now we know they're not related, and we know, but this proves they evolved different. In their mind, that's what they say. This proves they evolved differently.
Not just differently, separately.
Whoa.
In your example, the wing has evolved 3 different times.
Dan, just because you say that doesn't make it true. Would you please tell me how any one of these wings evolved? Where's the scientific evidence for any wing evolving? Just for you to say it happened separately and differently is not science. That's SpongeBob imagination. There is no evidence of any wing developing slowly over millions of years. None. Where's the evidence? Dan, you want this taught in science class and forced on all the kids, and you want me to pay for it and everybody else to pay for it? I think we have a right to object to that. This is a religion, Dan. You're pushing it and don't even know it's a religion.
Independently from each other. Again though, we have evidence of each individual evolutionary track.
You do.
Really?
Yay. Dan, send it. I want to debate you on that statement right there. Where is the evidence for any one of these wings evolving? You said we have evidence. Okay, show it. I'm calling you a liar, Dan, right here in front of God and everybody. You are lying. There is no such evidence of any one of these wings evolving from not having a wing at all to now having a wing. So where is it, Dan? Put up or shut up. Everything is evidence for their theory. You've got to be kidding. Thus, do not share common ancestor. Examples of analogous structures are as follows. Wings of insects and birds used for flying. biologyonline.org. Look, if the birds have a wing and the bats have a wing and the butterflies have a wing, maybe that's because it's a really cool design. It is. They can fly.
They can fly
Yeah.
in the air.
He's right.
It evolved because flight was necessary for that species or group of species for them to survive.
Hold it. Let me back up and play that one again. It evolved because it was necessary for them to fly. This is what he said.
He said a group also. There was a group of butterflies before when they evolved?
Because flight was necessary for that species or group of species for them to survive. That is all. There is no foresight with evolution. It doesn't know that it's forming 3 different wings in 3 different species at 3...
And you don't know, you're making a fool of yourself, son. There is no evidence of any wing evolving ever. You said there is. I'm calling you out on it, Dan. Show it to me. Not a story, not a SpongeBob imagination. Where's the evidence? You said there is. Let's see it. You want all of us to pay for this to be taught and get upset when anybody questions it. Where's the evidence?
3 different times. It just happens.
Maybe it just happened. There you go, Dan. Where's SpongeBob? Where'd you go? Here we go. We should put Dan's name on here. I had Frank on there for a while. Hang on, my chair is sinking every time I go the wrong way. Ah, there. Okay. There's Dan right there, his twin brother. It just happened. No, it didn't, Dan. Didn't happen at all, ever. Where's the evidence? I'm calling you out. You said you're taking on the biggest evolution denier. Okay, take me on. 855 Big Dino, extension 3. There's a really smart God. By the way, how did the butterfly evolve from its metamorphosis process, going from a worm caterpillar into a butterfly in the cocoon? How many died trying to do that one before they finally figured it out?
What an astonishingly ignorant statement. I mean, seriously. Evolution is a long, slow and steady process. Insect metamorphosis doesn't just happen overnight after millions of tries. And this is the key problem. Most people that argue with evolution don't fully understand it.
No, Dan, we really do understand how stupid it is. Just to say, think about it. For a worm to evolve slowly over millions of years, the ability to change into a butterfly. Why didn't it just stay a worm? It was doing just fine. Aren't there worms in the world that do just fine as worms? I bet one of them said, you know, if only I could fly. Wow. How many steps would it take to go from a caterpillar to a worm to a butterfly?
Well, first you have to turn into...
I'm going to get the mush stage in a minute here. The way he handles this is classic. Dan, you're making a fool of yourself, and I'm going to help show the whole world you're a fool, son. I'm calling you a fool, okay? Okay, boys and girls, we're going to wrap ourselves up now in a silk cocoon and hang here for 21 days or whatever it is, and come out as a butterfly. Some of them hang there with their head up and their tail down. They spin their cocoon, but when they come out, the head is down. Whoa. Think about that for 5 minutes. Okay.
Or you could just learn about the process. The caterpillar becomes broken down into a soup-type liquid with some organs and cells staying intact. The butterfly then regrows from this soup of cells and organs. Simple.
Simple.
Just that simple. Another one of those just so stories. Yep. We threw a bunch of metal into a meat grinder and it came out a Ferrari. Obviously, there's the Ferrari. You need help, son. I'm here to help, okay? Comparative anatomy. Analogous structures. Here it is, right off, all of this is right off the internet today, okay? Analogous structures. Hey, welcome back. You made it in, okay? Analogous structures. Body parts are similar in function, but different in structure. Means they're not closely related. They had to evolve separately. Homologous or analogous? How is a student with a brain supposed to answer this question? Boys and girls, dragonflies have wings, birds have wings. Is this homologous or analogous? How's a kid with a brain supposed to answer that question?
Well, if you listened when you were taught the meaning of the words, then you would know that they were analogous. Simples.
What if they answered, teacher, neither one? They were both designed. Would he get the question right or wrong? Probably mark it wrong, probably put him in detention.
Well, that's a bit harsh. You'd never punish a child for getting an answer wrong.
You wouldn't? Is lowering their score a punishment?
Yeah.
Do you guys in England just give everybody an A+ for everything? Apparently, if you can come out of the school system believing what you believe, they must just pass everybody right on. Yeah.
Ludicrous.
Yeah, you got it. They're giving two choices. Which is correct? 2 and 2 are 6 or 2 and 2 are 8? None. Neither one, okay? They're giving them two false choices here. Evolution evidence. Analogous structures. Here it is again. Separate evolution of structures. Yes, they must have evolved separately, but came to the same idea. Yeah, the butterfly had a brilliant idea. Let's make a wing. You've got to be kidding.
Well, I'd hope that you were kidding, because at the moment you're not really helping yourself.
Neither are you, Dan.
Moves on to the eyes of squids and humans.
Support for evolution. Comparative anatomy. Here it is. Analogous structures. Example, human eye and squid eye. Did you know squids have an eye and humans have an eye? That proves we're related. In their itty-bitty brain, it does. That's all they need. Similarities. The iris to regulate light entering the lens. Did you know you have an iris that determines how much light comes into your eye? And so does the squid. Whoa. That proves we're related. In their mind, doesn't it?
Unfortunately for him, Kent has picked an awful example to make his point. Let's allow him to gather some more rope before I tell you why shortly.
How is a kid supposed to go to school and learn this garbage and come out normal? Each eye is filled with fluid. Oh, there you go. The eyeball's filled with fluid. Yeah, that's proof we're related. Well, think about it. If it was solid and somebody poked you in the eye, it wouldn't have any give to it, and you'd probably go blind first poke in the eye. Anybody ever been poked in the eye before? You ever been poked in the brain before? Think, son. Think.
One first.
Got it. Well, yeah, okay. You can get all that because of this bump on the back of your eye. And they're both filled with fluid because it gives them some flexibility. Both eyes use a lens to focus. See, this, boys and girls, is support for evolution. I don't understand how you guys, A, how you teachers can be so dumb to believe this, and B, how you can be such a liar to teach this to the kids. How do you collect your paycheck with an honest heart?
Well, Kent, I am so glad you have asked. You see, you have picked the wrong example here, and I'll tell you why. Technology today is quite simply wonderful. You can map the genes of any creature you want. The human genome, of course, has over 3 million base pairs, and we know all of them. Now, it has been discovered that the eyes of the squid and our own eyes evolved because of tweaks to the exact same gene.
Dan, it has not been discovered that they evolved. You have chosen to believe that they evolved because they have come from the information for the eye comes from the exact same gene. Did you know Microsoft PowerPoint and Microsoft Word, two separate programs, use the same spell check dictionary? Whoa. That's proof they both evolved from Morse code. That's your fuzzy logic. Could it be that the designer used the same pattern to create the same information by the way, the gene code's incredibly complex. How many lines of code are there to make an eye? Just the fact that those lines of code make an eye in a human and the same lines of code make an eye in a squid is not proof for evolution, son. The same designer wrote the code. How can you not see that? Go ahead.
Not to mention DNA, it replicates itself. It doesn't change to anything different. It makes its own cell.
Makes a copy of itself.
And again,
and if there's changes that are too radical, the next organism can't survive. 2 or 3 changes in a DNA code is usually enough to be fatal. Let me finish with his statement here.
It's called the PAX6 gene and is responsible for the construction of the eye. Now we have got...
Wait. The construction? Would that imply like a constructor? Oh, no. Okay.
Evidence that PAX6 gene has evolved to create eyes in 2 very different species.
You stating that it evolved is not evidence that it evolved. Where's the evidence of the 95% PAX6 gene, or the 92%, or the 85%? I'd like you to show me step by step how this came from not having an eye at all to having all the information. Do you know how complicated an eye is? And it's not just the eyeball, you got to get the optic nerve and the visual cortex to do something with it. What if you had the eye and the optic nerve but didn't have part of the brain to interpret the signal? You got to have all 3 at the same time.
But in 2 very similar ways. If that is not proof for evolution, I don't know what is.
That is correct, Dan. You don't know what is, okay? I'm challenging you. You don't have a bit of evidence for evolution. None. 0. Give me the best 3 lines of evidence that you think prove that we all came from a rock. We all came from a common ancestor, an amoeba, which came from a rock, which came from a one-dimensional dot of nothing exploding. Give me the best evidence for your theory that you want all of us to pay for. Freddie, you told me about this guy. I'd never heard of him 2 days ago. Never heard of him. You got me fired up, brother.
Oh, thank God. Give it in, God.
Everybody in England isn't this stupid, are they?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been over there. I've had a great time. I didn't get to, I didn't get to Scotland yet, but I've been to all the rest of them over there. Wales, North Ireland, Ireland, England. Beautiful countryside. They drive on the wrong side of the road, but other than that.
That's right.
Anyway.
The teachers teach this because it is the truth. It really is as simple as that. And for you to sit there and question the morals of these people that have spent their entire lives studying this sort of thing.
Now, hold it. You're questioning my morals. I've spent my entire life studying this too. You're questioning me, Dan. I'm honest. I'm telling the truth. Nobody's ever seen a partial 85% wing.
Amen.
What good would a 95% wing do on a butterfly?
No good.
Tell them what's a proof for
Thing.
an ostrich, unable to fly but has perfect wings.
Yeah, some have perfect wings and still can't fly. Well, what if an animal has has the perfect wings to fly but doesn't have the muscles or the bone structure to support it, or the nerve system or the brain control system? It takes a control system to fly, you know. Ask any pilot. Yeah.
This is evolution.
Evil, yeah.
Yeah, he also mentioned morals. Morals don't exist in atheistic worldview.
Right, there's no morals in atheism. Right, can't have it. Okay, let's finish up here.
Is appalling. Right, let's leave Ken for today and we'll come back next week and dissect the rest of his video with similar ease.
Chicken.
Okay, if that's not proof for evolution, I don't know what is. Dan, I agree. You don't know what is. Now, Dan, you said you are taking on the biggest evolution denier on YouTube. Well, first of all, thank you for the honor and thank you for the promotion. People call our ministry, wow, Dan's picking on you. Can I order some of your videos? Thank you, Dan. We'll use that extra money to buy you lunch when you come over and visit, okay? Take you for a ride around the park and teach you some real science. Now, talk is cheap, Dan. You said you're going to take on the biggest evolution denier, me. Call me, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. I get 1 million calls a day. If you can't get through to me, go to extension 1 to Julie. You'll answer the phone. How many calls do you take a day? All day long. And just say, I want to debate Ken Hovind. Or call my secretary, Rhonda. She's extension 2. Or call the tech guy at extension 5. Say, I want to debate Kent Hovind on his channel and my channel and every channel. And you can have all your fellow travelers that are commenting all the bad stuff in the comment section. You can have all of them on 20, 50, 100 at a time, but I get half the time. Bring your expert on butterfly wings. Call the world's expert on how the butterfly wing evolved. Have him be your assistant during this debate. And then call the world's expert on the wing of the bird. Who would that be? Fiducia, I don't know. And say, I want you to assist me to debate Ken. Get everybody, anybody you want. Get your team together. I'll take them all on, half my brain tied behind my back. But I get half the time. We talk about one topic at a time, no interruptions, equal time, my side and your side. You can have 100 assistants. Dan, run, Forrest, run. Bark, 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 bark. Thank you for joining us tonight, folks. Sorry I get a little riled up when people do this. They say I'm lying. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm telling the truth. The evidence is overwhelming. We were designed by a really smart designer. And he wrote a book and told us about it and told us how to find him. And you can get to know him personally. I've been one of his kids for 50 years. It's great. It's simple. Dan, he wants you as one of his kids. He wants you to be forgiven for your sin. You're going to face God one day, whether you believe it or not. You can deny it all the time. It's like people in hell with a coffee cup banging on the doors. I don't believe in this place. I don't believe in this. Okay. Well, you're there. Sorry. I want to help you, Dan. Somebody brainwashed you. Your education system let you down. After years and years of going to school, you came out believing you came from a rock. Call me, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. Thanks so much for joining us. See you tomorrow. Bye.